And I meant every word I said. When I said that I love you, I meant that I love you forever. And I'm gonna keep on loving you. What, we're streaming, aren't we? What is going on, Jerome's? Vikings have mercifully finished things out against the crooked Chicago Bears. Vikings win 29-13. The Bears just taking a knee, getting rid of things. Oh, the Dolphins won. I was kind of hoping that the Steelers would sneak in, but it looks like the Dolphins are going to maintain, unless Braxton Berrios can bust us. I don't know, man. I don't know, but more importantly, the Vikings get a win. They finished 13-4 on the season. The crooked Chicago Bears are likely. Texans got the ball. I mean, so the Texans and Colts game, of course, is of note because if the Texans win and beat the Colts, the Bears at 3-14 would have the number one overall pick. But if the Texans lose, which it's kind of looking like it's going to happen, they would have the number 2 overall pick. And I have full confidence that the Bears can screw up the number 2 overall pick as much as the number 1. So it's whatever there. But we got some takeaways here. I mean, Nick Mullins, besides the random FUBAR interception, he played pretty well. He looked pretty good. What are they reviewing now? How'd the Dolphins do this with Skylar Thompson? Oh, hail Flacco time. They're down 9-6. Oh, look, they returfed the middle of the field because that's what you do. Hail Flacco. G-Dub. Chase Essex, $2 in Super Chat. Glad Shelley got his pick against former team. Yes, Derek Baker, $10. Congrats to Andy for his perfect prediction. The Vikings season record 13-4. It's a great year. Is that what we picked? It's kind of fun, man. It's kind of fun. I love it. If you got a comment or a question, toss a couple bucks in Super Chat. We'll get to it. And then we'll get into takeaways here. Sorry, just watching the end of this game. So 10 takeaways. O'Connell was right to play the starters. So I know that there was some ups and downs in the first half, but I think it was important to get that taste of the Packers game out of their mouths. I think the offense looked good in spots. I think the defense looked good in spots. Maybe not Kevin O'Connell's end of half clock management, but that's whatever there. And I think that it was important to get the starters' minds right, even though, yes, they sat Harris and yes, they sat Za'Darius. Those two made sense. But now the roll into wildcard weekend, a little pep in the step. And number 2, yes, it was the Bears, right? And I know a lot of Vikings fans are like, oh, well, they're beating the Bears and the Nathan Peterman and Tim Boyle. Would you rather they lose? Would you rather it had been a close game? Would you rather the Vikings had to come back at the end and win 16-13 over the Bears? No. They came out and they showed up and they showed out, and even the second teamers look really good, which I was really happy to take a look at some of the backups. Number 3, Dalvin's health. Now, I thought it was lunacy when Dalvin had that injury. Oh, they're doing the Stanford band play now with the Jets. I thought it was lunacy when Dalvin banged up his knees running into the back of Johnny Munt, and then afterwards they put him back in for a couple of carries. Now, I know that Dalvin wants to show that he wasn't injured, but nah. It just seemed a little bit too risky at that point. It's whatever. 4, Jefferson is the 2022 receptions and yards king. So Jefferson ends the season with 128 catches, leading the NFL, 1,809 yards receiving, leading the NFL. Far short of the Megatron record, but it is the 6th most in NFL history. And throughout his first 3 seasons, Jefferson has had 1,400 yards, 1,600 yards, now 1,800 yards. So next year, we know what's coming up next year. That's right, man. KJ Osborne definitely deserves himself some more work. So KJ's looked really, really good. And I think you can make a legit case that KJ Osborne right now is the Vikings wide receiver 2, and it's not Adam Thielen, even though all Thielen does is catch red zone touchdowns. But KJ, 5 for $117, got things going with that 66-yarder, looking really, really good. And yeah, I do think that Jefferson and KJ were in the same draft class, and I do think that JJ and KJ could be a nice 1-2 combination for the Vikings passing game going forward. But of course, JJ, KJ, TJ, all the J's. Is there no receivers with a J? No. They're showing. Ugh. showing cowboys and commies in our market. That sucks. Anyways, number 2 is good to look at the backups. I was really happy the way that Nick Mullins looked throughout most of the game. Aside from the pick, Madison looked fantastic. King Kenne did some work. Ty Chandler had a couple of nice carries in there. Jalen Speedy Naylor had himself a ball game. I think overall it was really good. Also, Kyle Hinton looked good. Vidarian Lowe, aside from that false start, looked pretty damn decent. Defensively, guys like Josh Metellus, guys like Duke Shelley, even though Duke Shelley's not a backup, you know what I mean? Willem Kwenku, I thought looked really good. Kairos Tonga looked fantastic. So, there's a bunch of guys that really flash. And this basically was a preseason game in the second half, but it's good because attrition happens. Injuries do happen, and some of these guys are going to have to step up in these spots. So it is good that they got a little bit of regular season work. Madison is going to be a starting running back somewhere. So Alexander Madison, he was running hangry, man. So 10 carries for 54 and 2 touchdowns, and he looked good. He looked really, really good, and I assume that he is going to be cashing in somewhere in free agency. Although the running back market, it ain't what it used to be, and I would like to know what the Vikings want to do with Dalvin. I think it's 100% that he's not coming back at $10.4 million. But do they get him to take a pay cut, or they just do the cut, right? And if they do just cut Dalvin, which I don't think he's tradable, would they make a smaller offer for Madison? Maybe like $3 or $4 million a year, because I think that Madison could thrive as a Viking starting running back, maybe sprinkling in a little bit of King Kenne, a little bit of Ty Chandler on passing downs. I think that overall that would be a really nice backfield. But we'll see. Giving running backs second contracts, even if they're minimal, probably doesn't sync up with Kwesi's analytics perspective. But Madison played really good. 2 foul and $5. How far can the Vikings get with that defense in the playoffs? Jerry from Brooklyn Park, Skull Power. Well, the defense needs to step up. And I think having as healthy as possible as Darius and Daniil, letting them go out there and hunt. I think Duke Shelley playing above the rim. I think Patrick Peterson getting out there. I think Harrison Smith being healthy. I think that they would have a shot, because the great equalizer in the playoffs is the pass rush. And the Vikings can get after that quarterback's ass at times. So I think they have to just swing away and be aggressive. Like, they have to play like the second half of the Colts game, the entire playoffs. They just have to go for it, man. Let's see. What else we got? 12 personnel. So you saw when they had the starters in, they were working in Hawkinson with Irv Smith Jr. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that is going to be the look for them going into the playoffs, especially since the Vikings are down Brian O'Neill, and it's going to be Oli Udoh or maybe Blake Brandel starting at right tackle for the wild card game. And I think they're going to have to give him as much help as possible. And I do think that Irv can be an asset in the passing game. Him and Kirk do have some chemistry. Hawkinson is obviously tight end 1, but what's great about it is that if you take the field in 12 personnel, so 12, 1 running back, 1, 2 tight ends, 2, so 12 personnel, leftover minus 5, 5 minus the leftover is how many receivers? So 1 running back, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. It forces defenses to stay in their base defense, or if they stay in nickel, you have a heavy package out there. So she said, so you can run on them. So I think that it could be a matchup nightmare for teams in the playoffs, which is kind of important. Let's see, swagger and confidence back. So yes, it was the Bears, but again, this could have been a close game. This could have been whatever, but the offense looked crisp. Kirk Cousins looked fantastic. They were able to do something. Pass protection was actually really good. Cousins and Mullins didn't get sacked. They only had a handful of pressures too. So it was nice, even though the Bears had rolled over and died. They sat Justin Fields, and it's still good to get a win on the road against your division rival. And now it's a brand new season. Everything starts over now. So whether the Vikings are playing the Giants or whoever gets a 7 seed, if the Vikings somehow get the 2 seed, it doesn't matter. Brand new season, and whatever happens now. So everything that happened in the regular season is gone. 13 wins doesn't mean a damn thing. So now you just got to get after it, man. So as of right now, let's see, factoring in wins. All right, so this isn't updated. Yeah, because the Bills beat the... All right, so the Bills beat the blah, blah, blah. About the Chiefs. Chiefs have the 1 seed? I don't know now. But what's more important is the NFC. So the Eagles and the Niners and the Cowboys are all playing this afternoon. So that's going to decide where the Vikings end up. And whether it's 2 seed, whether it's 3 seed, Really doesn't matter. Just take care of your business, and then whoever you play, and then go from there. But that's it. That is our post-game show, and make sure to stay tuned and subscribed. We'll do winners and losers coming up in another video, and you guys are the best. Thanks for hanging around this quasi-preseason game. As always, you're the best. Skol.